Empaths, lightworkers, and enablers, stop with the financial codependency. I know it sounds bossy, sounds easy, isn't easy, but we need to stop. It's time to have this conversation. All right? I get it. We're dedicated to helping others. We feel the weight of the world on our shoulders. We feel the energy from other people. We feel the energy from the space around us. We feel like we're here and we want to help and we want to heal and we want to do all the cool things. And we'd love to do it for free, but then we're stressing ourselves out and we're putting ourselves behind and we're doing without and we're harming ourselves and we're getting sick and we're worn down and people are sucking the energy right away from us. It's time to stop, right? The self-love journey is not about selfishness. It's not about over loving, if you will, the humanness, ego part of self. It's about honoring the spirit self, the part that we sometimes overlook, or we say that we're fully into it. However, do we treat spirit in that way, right? Do we deny spirit? Do we starve spirit? Do we beat the heck out of spirit? Do we do those things? I don't think we do, right? However, oftentimes we do it to ourselves because for some reason we are conditioned to believe that other people's spirit is more important than ours, right? No. Let's debate that. I can feel that within myself just hearing it, right? Like that defense wants to come in and start to justify, no, that's not what I said. That's not what I mean. That's not what I'm doing. Everyone, spirit is spirit and we're all the same and we're all connected and we're all love and we're all this and we're all that. However, where are we at, right? That financial freedom is like a gauge. A gauge. Are we financially free? Are we? Or are we still feeling icky about the energy of money? Are we still seeing money as the root of all evil? Even if it was used in that way by humans, that's not the natural energy of money, right? There's all different ways we can look at this. However, for now, that's in the Money Blocks Clearing Challenge. For now, for today, in our journaling process, let's look at some of those layers. Let's take the walk through those 7 steps, the 7 chakras, the 7 energies of the best you. Shine the light on it, right? Expose it so we can clear it, so we can heal it, so we can have the financial freedom, so we can have the self-love, meaning highest self, soul self, spirit self, unconditional love without blame, shame, and guilt. And that's a process. Someone asked me about that recently. I won't put her name out there, but she's like, what do you mean that without blame, shame, and guilt? Like, that's not really a thing, is it? And it takes time to be able to move through and actually not feel the blame, shame, and guilt, because we do, and we're conditioned to. And then we have the contrast between our values, that conflict between our values, right? I have 2 very strong, wonderful values, but sometimes things in life make them not mesh and meld very well. And that's where we start to really have those hiccups, right? That's when that blame, shame, and guilt can really start to set in. But we'll take one thing at a time and move through that. So speaking of values and down with our beliefs, before I get too far ahead, I'm glad I take little bullet point notes here. I'd really be off. Let me welcome you to Energy Healing TV and Podcast. And again, I am your host, Robin Knott, and I invite you to journal with me on the self-love journey so we can heal the layers of codependency, all types of codependency, and allow love for self, again, without feelings of blame, shame, and guilt. So first things first, beliefs, right? Beliefs are in our root chakra, our physical human life experience in this lifetime. Our beliefs are rooted in that. So our experience comes from the belief, whatever our beliefs about the world and our situation and our new life experiences or our now life experiences and the old life experiences and even the future life experiences are determined by our belief system, right? If we can change the way we believe, we can change the way we experience our lives. If I can change my belief about money and finances and my own worthiness and not having to do without to do well, right? Not having to sacrifice all my human joys, if you will, in order to feel like I'm actually helping or giving enough, right? then my life experience can be very different. Then I can really show up moving through as an empath without getting pushed and pulled and feel like I have vampires sucking my energy from me, right? I can show up as a light worker and truly help heal the world because I'm healing me first. Yeah. And then I don't enable, but I empower. I can offer that space of empowerment for other people as they are able to heal and step up and be the best versions of them too, right? Which led right into the contribution freedom. So if you don't know yet, if you're new to me, I am also the lead soul guide and instructor at the Spiritual Business YouTubers Network and the Soul Legacy Academy with Iona Mead. And in the Soul Legacy Journal, Iona talks about contribution freedom. So Iona actually talks about 7 freedoms. I talk about 7 chakras and the 7 energies of the best you. So I meld them all together as I talk about this because, for one, Iona and I are partners and we work really well together. And two, it was so amazing to me just how it all fell in together. It wasn't planned that way, but it makes so much sense. So again, beliefs. So if we're looking at our life experiences and go back to childhood, right? Always look back at childhood, but that's where it begins. What was our experiences about money, about finances, about our place with money or the role of money in our own lives? Where did that come from? What was that like for you? Did you have so much abundance, but yet felt guilty because maybe people around you did it and you saw them struggle? Did you deal with poverty, right? And that became a norm. Were you taught to give and just give and not receive because it's rude to receive? That's one of mine. You don't receive, it's rude. You don't take from other people. If you receive, you're taking from other people. So you don't do that. You just help and you give, and that's like your sole purpose in life. And if you're not helping and giving, then you're wrong and you're bad, and right, like all these icky feelings and gunky energy that comes along with that is conditioned beliefs and it's BS. Okay, we can have a balance of both. We're meant to have a balance of both. I fully believe that. Do I believe that we are supposed to be rich and greedy and gross? No, of course not. Of course not. I'm not meant to harm people with it either. But we don't have to harm ourselves either, right? We live in a society that requires money to survive. And we're here to have a human life experience and to do our work in the world. And how do we do our work in the world if we can't survive as a human? Right? So what are your beliefs around that? All of that is rooted, right? Think root chakra, rooted into the root chakra and the energy of the root chakra into the base of the spine. It's the way we move, the way we contribute, the way we show up in the world, the way I show up as a daughter, as a mother, as a grandmother, right? As a Reiki teacher, as a friend, all the things. How do I show up? And it's based from that space. Mm-hmm. So next one, if you're spelling out best you, B, beliefs. Next is E, emotions, right? For best, E, emotions. Emotions are governed by our sacral chakra. And in the Soul Legacy Journal, Iona talks about health freedom. So when you think of health, think of physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all the things, yeah? Our emotions play a big role in that. Sorry, I just had a side thought for a moment. Okay. So our emotions and our sacral chakra, how do we feel about certain things? As an empath, with the beliefs that I have, I feel oftentimes a lot of heaviness, right? My emotions, I can have been, I'm going to use past tense, not nearly now like it used to be because I've healed a lot, thank goodness. Still healing layers. I'm not done yet. Give myself a break, right? Be gentle with self. Not done yet. But healed so many layers, and I was pushed and pulled. Like my life felt in that humanness emotions kind of chaotic. Sometimes the weight was so heavy of the emotions of my own and others because I didn't realize that I could feel emotions of others. I just always took it on to be my own and then try to be responsible for it all and try to take care of it all and manage it all. And it wasn't even mine and I didn't understand it. It was very confusing and a lot of weight to carry, right? So boom, depression kicked my butt. Down for the count, right? And other times, anxiety skyrockets. Yeah. Massive pushes and pulls. And when you think of health freedom, and that just made me think of physical even for that, but the tie with that, for me, when I felt really super heavy and depressed and just made it was like hard to move, it reminds me of like if I was trying to push this wall and I spent all of my energy just trying to make this wall move, right? Meaning move by showing up in the world, waking up and going to work and being a mom and doing the things I was supposed to do. Wasn't doing it very well because it felt like I was pushing and nothing was moving because it was so heavy, right? To that extreme of the anxiety, but my eating habits fell in line with that. So when I felt heavy and depressed, I would feed those emotions and feel heavier, right? I would eat the things that made me physically feel heavier. However, on the flip side, when I felt anxious, I had a difficult time eating. It's like I ate very little because I felt nauseous. It didn't sit well with me, right? It was probably like trying to eat through a shaker cup. My whole body's shaking and it's just anxious and the food doesn't process very well. So I didn't eat very much. I still didn't eat well. I wasn't healthier when I was anxious. I just didn't eat as much. I didn't feed the heavy depression emotion. So that's not good for the body either way, right? There's no balance and harmony in that. That's one extreme to the other, but it affects our health. And then the food I was eating fed into the emotion even more. So it just perpetuated that cycle. Let me know if that makes sense. And I'm going in these areas because, excuse me, let me bring in the money piece. How did I feel in those emotions? How do I get pushed and pulled, right, when it comes to financial codependency? Well, I'm going to confess and shine the light on it and own my stuff, right? Which is why I'm doing this today. And in preparation, to be fair, of writing my book. So all the things, right? We're looking at current and past and what makes more sense. Well, how do you provide the best benefit to your readers, right? And it's a thing that comes in, and this is the thing that came in last night, and it's just becoming more and more clear to me. So clearing out more and more layers, and I can walk you through that, and it's just an amazing thing. However, I digress. So when something happens, right, most of you know if you've been with me, I stay with my mom. She's had some rough things with her health, right? So I stay here to help. If you could see my face or feel my energy, whatever I'm going with that, right? So there's certain values and beliefs that we carry which feed into the emotions, right? So the value of family, very strong family values. Not sure where that came from, but I have very strong family values. And that leads into that emotion. So my emotions, excuse me, kind of push and pull me into wanting to be that protector and the helper and the enabler. Let's just call it what it is, right? And the enabler. And finances is the thing because the first few months of this journey with mom, I had no income, right? I had no income. I was giving, oftentimes in our society, or the way that I learned how to function in society is trading time for money. So thank you, Iona Mead, for showing me a different way. For real. I'm shifting out of that trade time for money, right? Not fully out of it yet, but seeing the opportunities and possibilities there. However, in the beginning of that past year, I wasn't there yet, right? I didn't have it all together for not trading time for money. So I gave up all income to offer my time for family. So the downfall is I have creditors who still expected to get paid. Who knew? Silly sarcasm, of course, right? It's my responsibility. I borrow the money, I pay it back. However, I wasn't getting the income to pay it back. So it became a big challenge to try to figure out how, right? How do I continue to be the helper and have income to pay for my needs, right? To pay for my responsibilities, to pay for the debts that I owe. It's that simple, right? It doesn't feel simple. I got a side gig to help with the income. It's very flexible in the scheduling, so I can still be the helper, shifting away from, because I was leading into the enabling more. So pulling back from the enabling to set the boundaries, right? But working through those emotions because you have those beliefs about who you are, how you're supposed to contribute, right? What it means to be a good daughter, or what it means to be a good human, what it means to be a good light worker, how you actually help people heal and in the world, and how you treat another human being and another soul, right? Have all those beliefs, and they are super strong, rooted in your existence. Yeah? Rooted into your existence, dictating, in a sense, my emotions then were dictating based on my beliefs, my choices as an enabler. There was that part. So again, still with the codependence, the financial codependency, how we view it. There's different pieces in that. Like anything, there's different sides of a spectrum, right? Financial codependency could mean that I am the provider. I'm the one who has the money. I'm the one who wants to make the decisions. I'm the one who wants to be in the control of those situations, or I'm the one who can feel, strong and independent because I carry my own weight financially. To the other side of I am broke, right? I have no income. I'm relying on other people. So now I feel controlled by those who have money, right? Some fear maybe around that, like, what if my situation changed? How would I then survive because someone else? And I don't necessarily mean it could or could not be my situation with mom. There could be those situations of relationships too, right? Or other family members or roommates or however that may be. So there's different sides of that spectrum, but this is why we do the journaling, to look within ourselves, right? This is our own self-love journey, having the awareness of where we are. If it resonates and we can relate with one another, that's fantastic. However, it's not, we don't rely on other people to tell us how we feel anymore, because that's a codependent thing, right? We're trying to look within to see what we believe, what we on our own feel, how we identify within ourselves, right? Moving into the next, which is self-esteem. Self-esteem is the S in best you. The solar plexus is the chakra that governs our self-esteem. And in the Soul Legacy Journal, it's emotional freedom. Yes, I just talked about emotional freedom or emotions in the sacral chakra. However, there's such a strong connection that we tend to miss about the way that we think, the thoughts we think in connection with our emotions. And emotional freedom. So remember, I had said that Iona talks about the 7 freedoms. How I think can either imprison me in my emotions or free me, right? Remember, we talked about being pushed and pulled by our emotions. Am I getting pushed and pulled? How am I thinking? What am I saying to myself that allows me to get pushed and pulled and dictated by, imprisoned by those emotions? What am I thinking? What am I telling myself? How am I feeling in my self-esteem? If I'm being pushed and pulled by emotions, I'm probably not feeling very strong about or very positive about myself, right? There's probably some really low vibrational energy in there in the sacral chakra. However, if I start to clear that out, if I can change the way that I think, because self-esteem is based on how we think. I'm telling myself how I feel about me. That's what my self-esteem is. I can say it's because of life experiences. I can say it's because of the relationships that I've had. Those do play a role. Those situations help condition me to think the way I was thinking, my thought patterns, to repeat the cycle, to keep that perspective alive, if you will, and embrace and identify with and internalize all of that to be who I think that's me, right? The unworthy one who has to save the world, which is hilarious when you say it that way, because how would you expect an unworthy person to save the world? Right? I'm laughing at myself, so please don't be offended. because when I hear myself say it, it sounds funny. However, I had felt that way. In one hand, I felt very unworthy and undeserving, but yet in another way, I felt like I had to be the one to help. I had to jump in and rescue. I had to save, right? Where did I get this idea that I could jump in and save people? For one, it's not my role or my responsibility. And two, feeling unworthy and undeserving. Complete oxymoron, right? But it's interesting. I truly had both of those beliefs, had both of those values, right? Mm-hmm. Conflict, contrast, friction, as Iona also says. But I internalized that, both aspects of those things, of those beliefs, internalized them into my self esteem and repeated those cycles, right? So because I saw myself as unworthy and as the rescuer, the responsible one for like everything that wasn't mine to be responsible for, but still truly had that belief, root chakra. So had the emotions, sacral chakra, that were pushing and pulling me, right? And continued that cycle of the lower vibrations, internalizing it all into my self-esteem, right? Which continues to affect my emotions. So again, pulling in the Soul Legacy Journal with Iona Mead and the emotional freedom when I heal those things, when I release what no longer serves my highest good, when I truly begin to see what is mine. What is mine? Is it my responsibility? Own my own stuff? Absolutely. Take on the rest? No. Financial codependency, financial freedom. Am I, this is my gauge, right? Do I have financial freedom? I'm not asking, am I rich? Just do I have financial freedom? Or do I still stress about how I can pay for? Do I still have to, my one phrase, and I didn't create it, but I've, lived by it for so long, rob Peter and pay Paul. Do I have to continue that cycle? That's not freedom. That's survival. So am I surviving financially? Am I financially codependent, either relying on someone else to pay my bills or um, just doing without, not feeling worthy to receive or trying to give it all away? Am I doing that? Right? Or am I on the opposite spectrum? Do I feel that I have financial freedom because I have the abundance of money, but still feel pushed and pulled? Because I also may feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I might feel that people take advantage of me if I have extra money to give, right? They always come to me when they want something. So that could be financial, energetically, right? Could be favors, time, but money too. Even when you don't have money, people can come to you wanting money. Add that too, right? So is that financial freedom? No, no. Could it be financial codependency? Yes. There are layers, layers. I can't stress that enough, layers. So next one up, transformation in the heart chakra. In the Soul Legacy Journal, it's environmental freedom. Environment starts within. It starts here. The heart space, again, is that space for transformation, where the energy from the lower vibrational chakras, which is your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plexus chakra, excuse me, moves up into the heart chakra. And then we also pull in the energy from the higher chakras. So the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra, right? From pure love, pure spirit, God, source, creator. It meets, blends, melds in the heart chakra space. And that's our space for choice. Do I, and again, there's that phrase of setting healthy boundaries, right? It sounds like a thing. I'm going to set a healthy boundary with you. Like, we should anyway. We should just live by healthy boundaries. It should just be a norm, right? Let's normalize healthy boundaries. That sounds like a good video we'll have someday, right? Let's normalize healthy boundaries. Transformation, heart chakra. Excuse me. Let me get a drink. Okay. It's funny to me if I listen back on a video, it's like my voice can sound soft or distant, but I can take a deep breath or swallow and you hear that clearly, but that's okay. We'll work with it. Transformation, heart chakra, financial codependency, space for transformation. Again, and I know we've talked about this a little bit before. How do I show up as a loving empath? How do I show up as a loving light worker and help others move through their journeys, heal layers of their stuff, hold that space, empower and not enable? Yeah, empower and not enable people to have that space for healing. Starts in the heart chakra, right? Comes in the heart space. Clearing out my own environment, my own physical body, my own energetic body, right? Allowing those energies to unify. I don't have to beat myself up. I'm not pulling in the energy of the higher chakras to look down at the lower chakras, to scold them some more and to blame, shame, and guilt them, right? To feed that unworthiness cycle, because I'm not pulling any energy from the higher chakras. If I'm doing that, I'm just recycling the lower, because that's not energy of the higher chakras. That's not energy of God, of source, of creator, of unconditional love, right? If I pull in that energy of unconditional love, then I can say, then I can see, then I can feel, and I can allow that space to receive that energy exchange, whether it's exchange of time, exchange of money, exchange of an object, a thing, of love, of friendship, of listening, of communication and relationships, of all the things, of duties, chores, like, all kinds of things, right? But there's that exchange. There's a give and a receive, a give and a receive, a give and a receive. We talk about, in businesses or in churches. I remember having a conversation of like tithing, right? Give donations and be supportive, and you're helping others. And of course, we want to help others. Tithing, from my understanding, means you give, you donate a percentage. Hear that again. A percentage of your earnings, what you have. Like, I got that twisted somewhere. It doesn't say give it all away. It doesn't say, squeeze yourself out like a sponge to give your very last drip of energy, of love, of money, of anything to someone else until you have absolutely nothing left. That's not what tithing is. It's, right? I have to remind myself of that still. That's not what tithing is. Tithing is offering, donating, giving a percentage. So if you have a whole piece of pie, food, right? You have a whole piece of pie, that's giving away a slice or a piece of that pie. It's not giving the whole thing away, so you have nothing. Financial codependency. Let's clear the layers, right? Let's transmute it, find the balance, find the harmony, set the healthy boundaries for both of us, so I'm not becoming an enabler with the financial codependency, right? You're not being disempowered. Ooh, that just hit me. When I enable, when we enable others, we disempower them. Oh, snap. There's a perspective. That doesn't feel very good, does it? We disempower others, the exact opposite of what we want to do, the exact opposite of what we're trying to do in the world. We don't heal the world by disempowering others. Moving on up to the throat chakra, your truth. So invest you the why for your truth. Again, governed by the throat chakra. Our truth, how we speak it, how we express it, how we communicate it. Yeah. How we listen to other people, how we listen to God, source, creator, how we listen to our highest self, right? How we listen to soul, spirit, how we listen to that intuition, that inner knowledge, our own self-awareness. How can I say this is me if I don't know who me is? I've been there. And it sounds strange. I know Iona will say, of course you're going to be you. Who else would you be? But there was a time in life, and if you're familiar with the term of codependency or you've done any research on it, one of the characteristics of it is to not really, I don't want to say not know who you are, but to not be you, right? I always say it's like a chameleon. You try to fit in right? In each situation, you can easily feel out empath. You can feel that energy quickly, what it feels like in a situation around certain people, and then be able to disguise yourself in a sense to fit in, to get through, to survive that moment. So instead of feeling safe to show up as me, right? Maybe I don't feel safe showing up as a 51-year-old wearing a tie-dye shirt with butterflies, right? Maybe I don't feel safe going out in public looking that way. Maybe in public I need to wear dark clothes and layers of clothes and scarves that hide my face and whatever. It's just an example. I don't know. Part of the codependency, financial codependency, stating, oh no, I'm fine, I'm good. Nope, nope, I'll get paid or I'll have income on, 2 weeks from now and I can make it work till then and I'm fine and I'm okay. It's not fine and okay. It's not. It's not. Yeah, I was going to go to the store and spend this $10 on, whatever, some vegetables, but here, you need it, I'll give it to you. I can do without. Are there times when we can say, now, if my needs are met, if I have plenty of food in the fridge, right? I was just going to go get cauliflower because I had a hankering for cauliflower, but you have none. And if I can give you that 10, cool. Now we can both eat, or I can invite you over for dinner, or, right? There's ways to move with that. That's not taking away and we're still helping other people. I'm not saying that we don't help or we get greedy, but I'm saying that if I have $10 and nothing in my fridge, or very little, not enough to last until the next money that comes in, and I'm giving away my last $10, no, that we need to stop, right? And being mindful that although we may not want to believe it to be true, it's possible that the person asking for it really didn't need it either. Just saying. Just saying. Or maybe they felt they needed it or wanted it so badly it felt like a need, but really didn't, right? They were going to be okay without it too. They just really wanted whatever it was, Financial codependency, speaking our own truth. Here's another one though. We got to be careful sometimes too on the righteousness, or the what some people call spiritual ego. So there was a time when I was doing without, right? Like I was releasing the need or attachment of, which is a great thing. It was a great experience to be able to do that, to go through that, because attachment is a thing, right? It's a thing. Definitely know it's a thing. Like I've struggled with attachments. I'm not saying it's completely gone and healed. There's probably still some if I was challenged. I'm not asking to be. Let me just clarify that with the universe right stinking now. But in the time and the process of releasing these attachments or these beliefs and moving into a space of like, you know what, I don't need that. This doesn't define me. This doesn't make me who I am. That's a beautiful thing. But then I went a little bit to the extreme and started to feel a bit righteous about it, right? And then I'll just challenge myself more and give more away and more away and more away and do without even more. So have less and less and less and less until I have nothing. It's like, now what? Right? Yeah, I was feeling all good about that. Well, now people are used to me giving it away and they're coming for more. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't got nothing. And now I'm starting to feel resentful. Because why are you coming at me when you know I got nothing else to give? Why are you coming at me trying to put more on my plate when you know my plate is full? Right? But it's not other people's fault, if you will. It's not a blame thing. I gotta own it. We teach people how to treat us. I was teaching it. I was teaching that I can do. I'm a superhuman and I'm so loving, which I am loving. But that doesn't mean that I can do without my needs being met. It doesn't mean that I don't have to take care of myself, because I can do without well-being. Like I said, I laugh because I hear the words I choose and it's like, it sounds so ridiculous, but like I was doing it, right? So in that, trying to find out what my truth is, and it can change. Beliefs can change, values can change, right? It can. Again, what truth do we speak? Am I speaking in my humanness? Am I projecting out financial codependency? Am I projecting out enabling behaviors? Am I projecting out repeated, unhealthy, negative, heavy thought patterns? Am I projecting that out? Is that the truth I'm speaking? Or am I speaking unconditional love for both of us? Am I speaking unconditional love of empowerment with healthy boundaries? Seeing my own value and my own worth as a human being, not over inflation, but my spirit. Mm-hmm. That. And in that, in the Soul Legacy Journal is relationship freedom. So when you take all that was just said and you think about the relationships you have, including the one with yourself, those two aspects of self, my observer spirit, soul, self, my humanness, negative thinker, overthinker self, right? And again, I'm not trying to beat up or beat down my humanness, my human aspects. I need to love my human and my human aspects. You need to love your human aspects, right? We are here as a human, not to hate it and beat it up. We're here to heal the layers. Yeah? Actually made me a little tearful. In a loving way, like it didn't feel super painful, but just kind of what words would I use to describe that feeling I just felt? Acceptance, maybe? Compassion? Love? Yeah, I think it felt pretty good. It's a friendly reminder for all of you too, right? You're not here to beat up your human. You're here to give it love, compassion, all the things that we want to give to everybody else outside of us. Give to ourselves first. Again, doesn't mean we're greedy and selfish. It just means that we're going to learn how to heal ourselves and fill ourselves up with so much love and compassion, unconditional love and compassion, that we will have so much more. It's have plenty to tithe. Think of that as a pie. If my pie plate is so full of goodies, I have even more I can give away, right? I don't have to empty and scrape the plate clean to give the last few crumbs. I can have so much of it that I can share with even more people. And it'll be fresh and lovely, right? I don't have to scrape for crumbs. Next one up, best you, the O, observer, the observer, third eye chakra, awareness, self-awareness. Again, human eyes allow us to see out and away from us, and oftentimes that becomes our focus because it's denser energy, it's solid, seems more solid to us, right? It appears more real because we see it away from us within our human eyes. The third eye, we look within, right? Self-awareness, inner knowledge, higher self, divine God, source, creator. That's our ability to not just see, quote unquote, see, hear, whatever your clair is, right? The feeling, empath, feeling, whatever that may be, it comes within that third eye that gives us that ability to be aware and observe energetically with our soul, our spirit. Spiritual freedom in the Soul Legacy Journal with Iona Mead, right? Spiritual freedom, not being clouded and imprisoned by humanness, that inner environment first that we spoke of, right? Spiritual freedom. You know, when I first heard her talk about that, I thought about feeling free, spiritually free to express myself in what I believe in, right? Sometimes it still doesn't feel safe. It's still wonky because there's still labels and there's still opinions, which we all have opinions, right? Or levels of understanding, or there's just that extreme label. That's just that, an extreme label. And I don't fit in that extreme label. I'm in the middle. To feel free, spiritually free to hold my crystal while I have this conversation, right? To feel free to talk about a third eye chakra and self-awareness. But it's deeper than that. The spiritual freedom is deeper than that. My own spirit, to feel free and not imprisoned by the humanness. That is huge. That's huge. That's way beyond a conversation of a third eye or holding onto a crystal, right? Wearing crystal beads, way beyond that, way beyond a religion or spiritual belief. Spiritual freedom is that. Is my spirit free to lead me in this human life experience? And I can assure you, my human oftentimes does not allow it to. My human wants to take over. My human gets pushed and pulled in those lower vibrational emotions, right? Based on the lower rooted beliefs. So finding that space, right? Centering, you hear people talk about centering in the heart space. Centering in my heart space, that space of transformation, where the higher and lower meet, where my humanness and spirit meet, right? Where I can choose. It's a choice where I can choose to either stay in my humanness, and sometimes I consciously do that, like, nope, giving myself to be human today, and then I just to break it up and release it, and to let it go, and then I can come back in, take a deep breath, I go, okay, I think I'm done having my little humanness temper tantrum now. I'm ready, right? I'm ready. I'm open to share that space with my own spirit, my own soul, God, source, creator. Take the lead. And it gets challenging, doesn't it? Because again, our eyes, physical eyes, see outside and away from us. So it's so easy to pay attention to that, right? Instead of leaning into and feeling and breathing into and being open to spirit guiding us. Yeah, we could have a whole conversation on that too. But spiritual freedom, being the observer, observing the things around us and our life experiences, observing within us that higher self-awareness to really be able to see what my beliefs are and what emotions I feel about when I have those beliefs, and how I identify myself in my solar plexus. Is my self-esteem overinflated? Is my self-esteem beat down? Is my self-esteem getting neutral? Right? Is my self-esteem trying to embrace more of my spirit self and not so much the humanness? Maybe. Do I over-identify with the human labels? Am I more open to just being open, to just be, to flow, right? And last but not least, moving up to unconditional love in the crown chakra, which is financial freedom in the Soul Legacy Journal, right? So that financial codependency, again, how do I observe that? And I see that more for me, in my opinion, to be able to observe financial freedom in the space of observer mode in the third eyebrow chakra, spiritual freedom, right? The spiritual energy of money. So if God, source, creator said, here, use this on your human journey so that you may do all the things you need to do with your life, take it. You're going to need it. How we then came here on earth as humans, right, and got it all twisted, because that's basically what we did. We got it all twisted. We started to say, oh, there's not enough, there's a limit, only some are deserving and some are not. Who can have it, who can't? You have to sell your soul in order to have it, because it's the root of all evil. Because some humans, and we do know that, some humans do get greedy or have gotten greedy and have used it in very nefarious ways, but not everybody. And that's not the intention of it. Can't we change that as light workers? As empowerers instead of enablers, right? Can we change the energy? Can we clear it and use it as it's meant? Can we use it for financial freedom? Can we allow ourselves to receive and have enough of it that we can do all the things and show up to be the best you, the best me, the best us we can be in the world, to have plenty to tithe? And the more we have to tithe, the more people we can reach, the more people we can help, the more things, right? Financial freedom. Yeah. Breaking the layers of codependency, including financial codependency, right? And financial codependency and financial freedom is deeper than just the money, even. Yes, there are aspects of the money that is completely and directly involved. However, it's deeper. And if you're an overthinker like myself and you like to satisfy your human in the thinking process, then here we are to do the journaling, right? And that's okay. No blame, shame, and guilt. We're just going to do it. We're going to do what we need to do to clear it in the ways that we know how. Yeah. And if you want to go deeper, join me over at the energyhealingschool.com. Also, don't forget to check back next week for the next video. I don't think I mentioned in the beginning, my apologies, and I'm going to note it, that this is a pre-recorded video. Next week will also be a pre-recorded video because I have commitments on the days that I intended to do my lives. But that's okay. We'll make it work. If you leave comments, I will happily come back and respond. Also, don't forget to check the description for the free offers, because there are still free offers. I'm not taking those away. I love them. There's upgrades and updates. Yeah, I look forward to having more conversations with you. I will talk to you soon. So much love to you.